Well, good afternoon and welcome to another Insight into Industry session. We're very, very proud to run these within the West Sussex and Brighton Hove Careers Hub. And this is a wonderful opportunity for all of our careers leaders, our volunteer community, our governors and external stakeholders to really understand that we're trying to share the knowledge and the best practice by our critical friends and experts that are in the field. So it gives me great pleasure to be able to introduce you to James Kennedy. He is an executive coach and runs and oversees superstar recruitment. James, I'm going to pass the baton over to you. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Penny, and thank you so much for inviting me to come along, and excited to be here with you all. I know that with the people that we have on screen and who will watch this later on, you want to make a difference, you want to make an impact, and you want to empower the lives of the young, early careers talent and the next generation. That's what I want to do as well. So I'm volunteering my time just to come in and say hello. So I'm just going to put some slides on really quickly to go all of this. I'm conscious of time, so I want to share with you the slides that as I do volunteer work with the local schools. I'm sharing the slides that I share when I go in and I stand in front of all these amazing kids that don't have much experience. They don't know what they're doing, Penny, and they're trying to figure out what they want to do with their life. So this is what I'm doing. And so this is quite interesting today because obviously this is not to a student audience, but Penny and I have gone a quick run through and she said, no, this is definitely what we need to share. And this is what we need to give out to the world. So Penny's going to be driving with me today, and any chats, anything you want to put on, let me know as well. So as we go through, just a quick introduction. My name is James Tomasi Kennedy. And for me, it's all about helping people stand out on the application, in interviews, to help them land the job. And I'm also from Fiji. So you see me in my funky flower shirt and flowers in the background. I'm from Fiji. But I didn't like the hot weather and the blue seas. Thought I'd come to Brighton instead. At least you're close to the sea, right? Where we are. Right? And it's James Tomasi Kennedy. It's an honor of my roots, honor of where I've come from. But also, I talk to people about branding and standing out from the competition where there's so many people out there. There's a million James Kennedys in the world. There's only one James Tomasi Kennedy. So for point of my saying is your name and who you are is all unique. So celebrate that and figure out how you can stand out from the competition. So when I early career, 20 years working in corporate, education, retail, financial services, and civil nuclear engineering. So I've been helping with IT projects for the nuclear power station down in Hinkley, supporting multi-billion IT projects. I know what's the pain point, the challenges of taking companies through digital transformation and the challenges, but also the importance of making sure you bring the right talent in, even at executive level, but even at the apprenticeships, and making sure it's the right people in, because the impact of having the wrong people in the wrong jobs, as we all know, is not only costly, but time consuming for everyone as well. So this is me coming in. It's not just the recruitment side and the coaching side, but understanding what companies need. I've said as an executive career coach and a recruiter, I've helped over hundreds of people in 34 countries all over the world transition into better paid roles, and I have over 100 LinkedIn recommendations. For me, it's all about results, and it's people only allowed to give me a recommendation after they get the result that they want and that they need. Okay, so all over Canada, North and South America, Europe, Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa. I've used exactly the same concept to help people all over the world learn bigger, better, and more fulfilling roles. Some of these companies and brands you might know. I used to work locally at Legal & General and some other companies. And I just want to come in and share the principles and this is, as I said, this is what I share to CEOs, which I work with on a regular basis, but also at the same time, you can use this concepts and share it with students as well. It's all the same concepts, regardless of wherever you are in the world. The challenges with recruitment are very, very similar. And so I'm sharing some of the similar concepts that everyone can use from the schools looking to help candidates, but also showing how we can help and make recruitment quicker, fast, and easier for companies out there, with not a lot of time and make it easy for them. And I'm just conscious of time, so I'm not going to be constantly checking my talking forever. Um, but then I tell students that it wasn't always like that. When I tell that, I said, I've transitioned to 8 different careers. I've been made redundant 3 times. So I know what it was from a careers point of view for people out of work and the challenges they're going through. I know it because I've lived it and I've bought this T-shirt too many times. Okay. I'm also a shy introvert, believe it or not. Okay. So I hated public speaking. I hated the sound of my voice. And I'm a first generation immigrant to the UK. And so for me, it's not just about the strategies to help people land a job. It's also about the mindset we needed to help us get to the next level. And the mindset needed as an executive level, or the mindset needed as a student just starting out, trying to figure out what they want to do, is very much similar. And for those of you on the call with me and those going to watch it later, this is one of the questions I ask students every time I do this. How many of you know exactly what you want to do when you grow up? Did you know, Penny?
Sorry, James, I was on mute. I still don't know, James. Honestly,
Right?
I'm enjoying the journey so far. But no, I didn't. I had no idea when I was
Gotcha.
in school. No
Yes.
idea at all.
Yes. Right. And for me, it's when I was in school as well, Penny. It was one of the most frustrating times of my life because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had to
Yeah.
choose which A levels I wanted to specialize in, and then after all of that, I needed to figure out what I was going to do and go to university.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't have the options or opportunities for apprenticeships at the time, which there's more of that now. And so for me, it's to say, hey, how can we give students different opportunities on what they want to do in the future?
Definitely.
I remember when I was young, Penny. I did in high school. I did one of those career. I did one of those career surveys to say what I should do, and it came back and it said I should consider studying psychology. So I was like,
Interesting.
interesting. Let me go speak to mom. Let me go speak to mom and tell mom about this, right? And I go speak to my mom. It's like, hey, ma, what do you think about this psychology? My mom turns around to me and says, are you mad? And that was the end of my psychology career. And that's fine because I understand it now. We come from where we come from, in Fiji. We don't have psychologists. We have doctors, engineers, nurses, all these amazing careers. I did who knows coaching or psychology? That's not a thing that we do where we come from. Okay. So I decided I go do business studies. I go do business studies in the hope that the world needs business. And when I come out of my college, of my university degree, I'll have figured out what I want to do that. So I did a general business studies course. And at the end of the degree, I still didn't know what I wanted to do. 20 plus years in corporate and coming out again on the other side, fast forward till today, I now help people all over the world with sales, marketing, storytelling, and psychology.
Amazing.
So
So
I've got all
you got to do the psychology in the end.
Yes,
That's
yes, but it's a
fabulous.
different way of doing things, and that's how I
Yeah.
am today. So, my journey, what I tell people when I say this is to say, I don't know where you're going to end up where you want to go, but these tools I'm going to share with people and help them just gives you the confidence to try different things before you need to go to where you need to go, right? To help you where you need to go. So, Penny, I asked this question to you yesterday, and for anyone on the call, and we can talk about it afterwards as well. Right now, as you're starting this, I know you're not looking for a job, but for me, is on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your CV?
I know about a 6 or a 7.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. And for everyone else, I tell you now, Penny, I've spoken with so many amazing people all over the world. Very talented, very good at what they do. 6 or 7 is the average I get every single time.
Okay.
Right. And so for me is to say is how can we get the hiring managers to see how amazing we are? Nothing wrong with a 6 or 7, but you're competing with so many other people in the world,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, and
how can
even also, James, isn't it, with the apprenticeship pathways as
yes,
well? I think
yes,
it's really, the focus to stand out from a crowd is more now
yes,
than it's ever been.
yes.
So yeah, definitely.
And especially at that level, Penny, where there's not much to differentiate students yet.
Yes, agreed. Yeah.
Right? So it's even more important for them to help them stand out from the crowd.
Mm.
And I like I said, I ask that question all the time, and I go there. And for me, I will tell you, Penny, that I've spoken to a CEO where I asked the same question and they told me they rated the CV as 0.
Wow.
They're top of the game, but they don't believe it and they don't feel it for themselves.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what anybody else says, even your team or the people around you. I say, if you don't believe it for yourself, that's a challenge that I have to help overcome first before we talk about CVs and resumes. So one of the questions I ask a lot when I speak to the students when we're doing this, I say, what's the difference between someone working minimum wage, like I photo of someone flipping burgers, or someone working in a highly paid office, maybe playing with a couple of numbers, and getting £1 million plus a year. Your thoughts, Penny?
I suppose it's belief in yourself, maybe self-esteem, confidence. Yeah, the drive, passion.
Yeah.
I could keep going on, really.
All correct, and like I said, there's a long list of the difference there. And I've had experience, qualifications, and other things. And one of the things I've learned to add to all of what the correct answers are, and there's nothing I'm going to say. There's nothing wrong with flipping burgers. One of my first jobs was assistant manager for a fast food chain. So I applaud the people that do that on a daily basis because that's hard work.
Yeah.
And for me, one of the things that I've learned is to say, this person's working really hard and getting minimum wage. The other person's getting paid a lot. And what I've learned is this person flipping burgers is his skill and what he's using, what he's doing right now. He could leave and someone can come and learn that skill in 30 minutes. So there's nothing wrong with the effort he's putting in, but I talk to people about the value he brings, that he's bringing to not just the role, but to everybody else as well. The person that's, we might complain about that's making $1 million a year, for example, right? In the exception, he's getting paid $1 million a year, but he might be making 100 million for all his customers and all his clients that he's working on, right? So everything's in context, is relative, depending on the value you make for others. So one of the things I talk to students about is to say, you're going to get paid relevant to the amount of value you give out to the universe. And the more highly skilled you are, the more you're going to get paid for that. Right? There's a difference between what a GP gets paid and what a brain surgeon gets paid.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want anyone to have a brain problems or everything. But if we were in that situation, I'd like to think that we want to choose the brain surgeon to operate on us in that way, right? And it's the value of what you do related to everybody else and what you bring to the to the world. And that's what I talk to people about a lot. And the other thing I speak to students a lot about as well is to say, hiring managers don't care about you. And some of the students look at me shocked. It's like, what do you mean? And I'm said, as a hiring manager in the past, and I'm probably going to be a hiring manager again in the future, I have to manage so many different fires. And the world does not stop just because I have to pause for a bit and do some recruitment to help them get the right people to fit that in. So I speak to people about time is the most valuable commodity in the world because we'll never get this moment again. And where you choose to spend it is important. So I tell people is to say, think of a job description as a list of problems, Penny. And so the mindset on what you need to think about for the hiring manager is just if that's a list of problems, I'm going to show you how I've solved similar problems in the past and how this can help you fix those problems.
That's really
clever. So for me, I talk to people about there's a disconnect.
Yeah.
At senior executive level, but also in high school level and students and sixth form colleges on how to translate what they've done in the past to what exactly the hiring managers need.
Definitely, yeah.
And as we see from social media now, attention span is a lot less now than what it used to be before. So we need to get a 7-second CV masterclasses to say, how do we grab their attention as quickly as possible and give them what they want?
Yeah.
And one of the biggest mistakes I see across, from CEO to graduate level is that most candidates talk about themselves on their CV. Like I said, hiring managers don't care about you. They care about what you can do for them, right? That's human nature. And this is what I talk about from psychology. Human nature is about, in general, and I'm talking in general, right?
Yeah.
Most people are, what's in it for me? Yeah. And I tell people, understand the game and learn to play the game rather than trying to fight against it. So I speak to people about focusing on how you can fix the problems on the job description.
Loving that. Loving that.
And so to do that, what I tell people is before you look at your job, your CV, we need to go and understand what the customer, the client, the hiring manager wants. So
True.
I just went online and I picked up this job description for Five Guys, and they talk about and I've just highlighted some of the key words which I call problems. They need someone to help with customer service. They're good at communication, working together, competitive, enthusiastic, family, get it done, and integrity. So you'll see a lot of people talk about keywords online. But for me, it's like, yeah, but that's just words. We need to take it one step further and do something with those keywords rather than just having a CV full of keywords. Because
Yeah.
I tell people, think about the person picking up the CV on the other side. You might have all the right keywords on there,
Yeah.
and and well, just because you got all the keywords doesn't mean anything to me at this point when you're competing against so many other people that are doing the same thing and just giving you lots of keywords to what you want to see. Right?
That's so true. So true.
It's not a very good experience for the person picking up on the other side. So I said, well, we're going to highlight these keywords and then we're going to park it for the moment, and then we're just going to move forward and come back to this. So I talk to people about just how we frame your CV. So I talk to people about their full name and location and postcode is sufficient.
Yeah.
Penny, earlier this morning, I had to tell off a senior sales director because they had their full address on there.
No.
Full address this morning. I kid you not. This morning, I tell you, why are you telling some crazy nutters out there where you live exactly? We wouldn't
Yeah.
give our information to strangers, but just because someone has recruiter in front of their name, we
That's
seem to be more
so true,
trusting
isn't it?
about that, right? So
And also
why
from
do you,
from a student perspective as well, you don't want to be going
yes,
ahead and branding your address left, right, and centre, do you?
yes, exactly. So for me, postcode and zip code is sufficient.
Yeah.
And what I want to say to that as well is, like I said, protect yourself, but also protect your family.
Yeah. Agreed.
So, and I will also say, professional email address, please.
Yeah.
Professional, and for those people worried about ageism out there, um, your name at bt.net gives it away and gives you the old email addresses from before Gmail and all this
Oh, you
ages
mean
you.
the Yahoos of this world?
Yahoo. Okay,
Okay, might need to change that.
well, no. So my I've seen all sorts of different emails,
Yeah.
and what I say to people a lot, Penny, is that someone is always going to make a first impression of you, whether you like it or not. It's not positive or negative. That's just human nature.
Yeah.
And so when I see someone with their email address at btinternet.net or whatever it was, I know the generation they come from straight away. For right or wrong, you're going to be
Yeah.
judged. Right? That's just like I said. So for me, people worry about age. I said, don't put in stuff in there that will make an impression potentially negatively against you. Right?
It's a really
So
interesting. Yeah.
but I've had someone put in their email address like River Art 445, and they're applying for IT director roles.
Yeah.
Like first impressions, like so. Look,
Yeah.
as soon as you have someone to have that impression of someone, there's questions going to be asked.
And also from a student point of view, a student
Yeah.
could also be advised that they can have more than one email. They could have their
Yes.
professional email, and then
Yes.
they could have their email from a friendship perspective if they want to
Yes.
be known as, as I call it, the underwater basket weaver at yahoo.co.uk. I mean, random, I know, but
Exactly. Random, and
yeah,
it's cool between your friends, but like I
yeah,
said, in a professional setting, it
very
doesn't
true.
look good, right? And also for because I know some schools have their own online school email address. I said
Yeah,
no, always make sure that you have your own personal Gmail account, because once
agreed.
you leave college
Mhm.
and all that, you will still need one for
Yeah,
yourself. So
yeah, true.
start early and just have one just for
Yeah,
work, and then you have it for that. And then I talk to people, Penny, about a headline statement, or your hook, as we know it in marketing. Okay, most CVs I see have professional statement or bio or something. And that line, I said, every line on your CV is valuable real estate. So if you think about, instead of professional summary, which we all know it is a professional summary, right? Change it to a hook or a statement that says, so think about you're the hiring manager for five guys. And instead of professional statement, which everyone else is doing, you say motivated team player with a passion for customer services.
Yeah.
Would you be interested now in learning a bit more about this person?
Absolutely, because it ticks all of those words that I've already asked for.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly,
definitely,
right? So
definitely. Yeah,
you already think that I am the solution to your problem.
I like that.
Right? And this is all psychology, whether you're applying for a apprenticeship or a CEO role. I see the same mistakes. So we're just trying to help and support there as well. And then the next section is all about what I call your 5 years introduction, Penny. Okay. So in your introduction, think about the in your introduction, think about the choosing a book. How do you choose a book, Penny? To read it. We pick up
Yeah,
a book and look at it.
yeah. It could be the cover. It could be
Yes.
what's written on the back. It could be the
Yes.
graphics. Yeah,
Yes. Right. And if the blurb at the back of the book does not resonate, how likely are you to want to read that book?
I wouldn't. Time is so
Why would it
precious.
any different? Why would it be any different for the poor person on the other side that has to look through 1,000 CVs for one role, right? Where everything looks the same.
Yeah, that's so true.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what we're doing here is, again, working psychology into everything we're doing, but giving them what they want as quickly as possible. So I said, I call it the 5 years intro. It's actually a few more yeses than that. So ambitious crew member. We're calling ourselves the job title of the role. Right?
like
Talking
it.
about the power of language. Each company, as we know, have their own jargon and the way they speak and how they communicate. Using their language also tells them, oh, this person's already one of us, who thrives in fast-paced team environments. That's relevant to the role. Known for being reliable and friendly, right? What's some of the aspects of who you are that's relevant for the role, and committed to delivering excellent customer service. And there's a line break in here, because what we're doing so far, everything we talk about is looking backwards. Okay, what we've done in the past. The next line is a pattern interrupt, and it's looking forwards. So what I'm looking for, coincidentally enough, Penny, is a great opportunity to learn and contribute in a competitive team environment.
Which
Right?
if I was the hiring manager would be a
Yeah.
win-win, because it absolutely matches
Yes.
what I've done. And like you said, as a hiring manager, you've got limited time to be able to make an
Yes.
impact.
Yes.
So again, it's this, I'm just also thinking about, all of the stakeholders and the businesses that we work with,
Yeah.
how maybe their hiring managers could be trained in to look out for this. Because
Yes.
rather than going, oh, here's another CV, and so on. Interesting.
Well, which is why I'm saying, Penny, for me, it's training on both sides.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
Definitely.
for the
Yeah.
apprenticeships and the other side. But what I'm saying from apprenticeships is, and for anyone looking for jobs, the standards of CVs and resumes out there is so bad right now, because I've seen so many to count, right? That it's so much like just doing simple things like this,
Yes.
you stand out already.
Yeah.
You stand out already because the standard of CVs is there is so bad. And I'm saying to people, like, make it easy for them. Like, we talk about customer experience a lot, right? In all the companies, and the importance of customer experience. And one of the things that I talk about, Penny, is what type of experience are you giving to recruiters when they look at your CV? What type of experience do you give to HR people when you look at your CV? What type of experience do you give to hiring managers?
Yeah.
Right? They're customers as well. We're trying to sell our services and convince them that we're the best person for the role, but no one thinks about what type of experience. Most people hate their CV, Penny. Right? I used to for a long time too, before I knew the strategies I know now. And the point I'm saying to you is, so if you hate your CV and you don't like it, and you don't, it's just a means to an end, how do you expect the hiring manager to see something in us that we can't even see for ourselves?
So true.
Right?
Yeah.
So I said, it starts with us first. And so that's the 5 years introduction. Okay. And so this is what it looks like without all the red blurb. Okay. So motivated team player, customer service, ambitious crew member, looking for a great opportunity. Very short, very sweet, straight to the point for what the customer is looking for. And those 7 seconds, I want to read more,
Yeah.
right? Compared to everybody else and standing out from everyone else as well. And then we talk about the STAR method.
Yep.
All right. Penny, you've come across the STAR method. I'm sure a lot of you watching as well have come across the STAR method as well, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can, and you know, with a competency-based interview, and once you've got
Yes.
the experience to put those competencies in, it
Yes.
can be quite textbook. But actually, if
Yes.
you're looking at the student audience, they might not necessarily have that
Yes.
with what they think they should have, because
Hmm.
they're instantly putting the competency aligned with work, and
Yes.
actually they've studied. And
Yes.
and they've done things in their school or college or
Yes.
whatever. But yeah, absolutely. But I understand the concept, definitely.
Great, great. So just for me, I love the concept because it's a storytelling framework, right? Because
Yes, it
it
is.
can be quite mechanical. And for me, with what I do, it's not just what you say, but how we say it that makes the difference, and how we communicate that makes a difference. So, and before you really use this, Penny, I used to get so nervous in interviews that I'd start rambling on an answer. And I knew I wasn't going to answer it correctly, but I was so nervous that I kept on rambling on and it just didn't get the job. So I know what it's like. I said, I've learned all of this the hard way around and I'm wanting to make it easier for others. So what I talk about, there's the STAR method and the framework. What's the situation? The task was this. The actions and how fixed it all was this, and this is the result. Okay, I've renamed it the superstar method.
I love that. I
Right?
absolutely love that.
Because that's what I said. This is what I want to teach you. You are the superstar. For the candidates, you are the superstar. The job description is a list of problems. We need to convince the hiring manager that we're the best person to come in and fix those
Yeah.
problems. Right? It's more than just a framework, it's a mindset that
And
we want to
I
help
love
them.
I agree completely. And I love the term super, because there's a lot of young people that would class themselves as neurodiverse, and
Yes.
they now are classing themselves as having a superpower. So
Yes.
actually utilizing that word
Yeah.
allows them to make it a really inclusive application in their mind.
Great.
So I
Great.
think that's wonderful.
Great, great. Okay, so like I said, I talk about, like I said, superstar because yeah, I love superheroes and watching all those growing up. So I said, yeah, well, we are all superstars. But what does that mean? So for me, what we've done here, Penny, I've just highlighted some of the keywords from the job description: communication, teamwork, customer service, integrity, all these keywords. And I said, think of them as problems, and then write down how you've solved similar problems in the past. And then,
Yeah.
so for example, I've used a school, right? Someone at school is, I don't have experience. It's like, well, you do. You just don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
What's the problem? We're using teamwork as the header. Group assignment. 3 other students needed to be completed in 2 weeks. Didn't really know each other and not very sure what we had to do. Right? Very common thing that most students, in terms of
Yeah.
learning how to work with other people, have to do as part of their, their courses and what they do. And then we go into the task. What did you have to do? Choose a relevant topic and figure out the best way to divide up the work fairly. Very standard stuff. It's all about the task. And then the actions is all about the how. Nominated a leader, agreed a topic, divided up the work, scheduled up when to meet up, and supported teammates who were struggling. Right? All things that we have to do. And then I talk to people about the so what, Penny. Right? So well, the question I ask the students at this time is, what are 3 things do they think all businesses need to do to survive? What do you reckon, Penny?
I think just thinking now, maybe worry about where the next money's coming in, keeping their staff, and maybe innovation, product
Love it.
development.
Yes, yes,
As
all great answers, all correct answers. And what I want to add to that from a CV perspective, I talk to people about every business in the world needs money coming in. Even as a non-profit or an NGO, you still need revenue coming in. The second thing that every single business in the world needs is process improvements. Because when you can do the same processes in half the time, we're saving both time and money. And the third thing that every single business in the world needs is regulatory compliance. Doesn't matter where
yeah,
you are, you need to comply with the regulations and what the government's saying that we should be doing, or the different, ombudsman. And so I tell people is whatever the actions and whatever that you've done needs to connect to one of these three pillars in terms of how did your fixing that problem help a company make money, revenue,
Yeah.
save money, process improvements, or regulatory compliance, avoid paying money out. And this is how Penny, I've helped people transition careers. We focus on what's common in different careers, in different things that we do,
Yeah.
against what every single business needs. Right? So
Yeah.
that's what we do. So for this example, the project was completed on time,
Yeah.
received their best grade, and positive feedback from teachers. Okay, so from a business perspective, if I were to put it up, project completed on time with minimum additional costs, right?
Yeah.
Excellent feedback from senior stakeholders.
Yes.
It's the same thing. We're just
Yes, it is. It
translating it
is.
into the different arenas that we're talking about. So, and obviously, I tell people here that obviously this is too much information to put in your CV. And I say, yes, but there's a method to the madness, and the way we do this to us is to help us take out from our mind and write it down the story about the problem. It was my task, and break it down, and we put it on a piece of paper. Because what I tell people is the story that you write on the CV that helps you get the interview is the story you expand on in the interview to help you close the deal.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is how I've helped multiple candidates around the world land a job from the next round of interviews.
Mm.
Because it starts from the CV and it just flows and aligns all the way through to make it easier. Once you understand this can be reused for the rest of their career as well.
Yes,
So I
yeah.
put this up in terms of like communication, because this is all falls under communication. Communication and effective communication is life skills that all of us need to be learning for the rest of our lives.
Definitely. And we
Right?
and we improve on them on each day, don't we? Depending on who you're
Yes.
speaking to and who you're,
Yes.
communicating with, whether it be the use of body language, whether it be the tone of
We
the
experience
voice. Yeah.
experiences to share with others.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
So what does this look like on a CV? So after your 5 years introduction, one section I see a lot of people don't have is a key achievements accomplishment section. So think of this as an extended summary. You've had a 5 years introduction up front, and this is an extended summary and highlighting what you can do. But you can see here, I've taken the teamwork. So I'm highlighting the keywords from the job description, and we're using it as a header, right? And signposting, oh, you need someone to fix or help with teamwork. This is my example of a problem I've solved in the past, and this is the result of it. So as you can see here, there's two sentences. I've highlighted the first words in blue because it's what they call action verbs.
Yeah.
Collaborated, delivered, facilitated. It's all action verbs, and I put it in the front there. And it talks about, the first one talks about the problem. You're the superstar, remember? This is the problem before you,
Yeah.
and this is the result after you. Right?
Yeah.
You're the superstar. This is what the problem is before you. This is the result after you. So in this example, using what we've already collaborated on a new class project with 3 new team members for a very tight deadline. Gives us some
Yes.
appreciation about the problem before you. Most CVs talks about the metrics, but they don't give me the contrast of how bad it was before you fixed the problem.
Liking this. Yeah.
Right? And then the second part of it is delivered the project on time and receiving top marks for our efforts and positive feedback from key stakeholders. Okay, so we've now changed what we've done in group work into corporate speak. Make it so much easier for everyone, right?
Yes.
And so Penny, in this one here, I talk about the problem from the star format, and I'm talking about the result from the star format. What's missing in this statement that we've talked about?
But you've done it.
Yeah, no, I get you. But if you think about the star format, we've got the situation and the task, and we talk about the result.
The
What's
activity.
missing? The activity. How the heck did you do that, Penny?
Yes.
When does the hiring manager get to find out the how?
Yeah. In a conversation.
What do they need to do to have a conversation?
Oh, Would you like to come for an interview, James?
What's the point of a CV, Penny?
To get me through the door, James.
To get you through the door, to get you an interview, right?
That's
The
so
point
true, isn't it? It's
but this is
so
what I'm trying to
true.
say, Penny. I speak to senior executives and they want to give me a 9-page biography of their life. I don't care about you and I don't have time to read a 9-page biography of what you've done in the past. That has nothing to do with me and nothing to do with my pain points, and I still have to deal with all the fires on a daily basis.
So true. So true.
Right?
Yeah.
So I said, like, who cares about you? What can you do for me? And so
Yes.
this is what I said, this is a game changer. I speak to people, but at the same time, I talk to people about authentic confidence, Penny. This is no flowery words of hard working, attention to detail and all this. So this is based on facts, and this is what you've done already and what you've done in the past that can help you with that. And what does the Penny, what does that bullet point look like to you?
A tick.
A
So it's
tick.
like you've completed it.
Right.
Right
So I tell people, Penny, this is
I love a tick against a to-do list, James.
exactly,
I love a tick.
we do. All of it is right. So what I'm trying to say, you're taking them through you've taken them on a journey here, and this the tick, to me, I call it a ninja trick, right? But it's actually a visual confirmation of this is a problem. It's also just to highlight these problems intentionally in the past tense.
Yeah.
Because if it's a tick, it's problems you've already solved in the past, right? Because I used to get confused on how do I write it in the first person. No, everything should be in the past tense. Past tense, right? Because it's problems you've already solved. Okay, so like I said, we go through this. Checking time here. Yeah, we're good. So just to go through the whole process and the journey of what we're doing here. You got your full name, location, postcode, all that. You got your 5 yes introduction, so you're getting a memorable first impression.
Yeah.
7-second CV. I can see this. It's an easy yes or no whether I want to read more about this person.
True.
And then you've got 2 to 3 examples for high school level. I'd say 2 to 3 examples. Up to executive level, I'll talk about 5 examples for them, right? But for 2 to 3 examples of things you've done here. And then the rest of the document, I was talking about work experience, if they have any, volunteer work that they do, different clubs that they've been in, volunteering for, sports teams, even sports, awards in them, because it talks to me about work is all about teamwork and dealing with problems and learning to work with other people. So if someone that's a, representative for the school for this or doing some charity work, you're learning to work and deal with other people. You're learning to communicate with other people as well. So I talk about, I know it's education, but I talk about putting any work experience, any volunteer work first before you come to the education, because education will be similar for everybody.
Yes.
And you want to stand out, and the way you stand out is to talk about the things that make you unique, to make you stand out from the crowd. That's what we
talk about. And also,
from
a student perspective, a lot of students help with things like parents' evening or other events that are going on, whether it be the summer fair or whatever, or they're part of the, supporting the parent-teacher association or the friends of, or helping out, with a governor meeting or whoever visits come or dealing with visitors or taking, if you're talking about primary, taking the register back to the office or being a runner around the school. And I think, showcasing that to students as the task is a piece of work, and actually utilizing that will showcase that they're want to be part of the team and they want to make a difference. Definitely.
And Penny, what I want to just thought just come to me as well, but in a school setting, if we get students thinking about the problem solving, what am I doing, and also what do I need to do more of to have more examples of solving problems?
Yes.
So that when they get to write to their CV for their apprenticeships or even their first job afterwards, oh yeah, I volunteered here and I dealt with this. So that you start having that mindset of problem solving all the way through.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and the last, so I will talk about a memorable first impression. On my CV, I talk also about a memorable lasting impression. Right? So on my hobbies and interests, it says salsa dancing. The kids laugh at this.
I can see you, James, doing that. I can see you doing 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm ready with you.
So you've done it before, I can see, right? So salsa dancing, and what I've done here is, first off, you've made a recruiter laugh, Penny. How many times have recruiters laughed looking at a CV?
Yeah.
Okay, you're already standing out by just putting something that you love to do anyway. And I always tell people, you think about this, that last line, if they come to that last line, how to make you memorable. If you can make them laugh, bonus. But what
Yeah.
I've done here is I've talked about the transferable skills that I do while learning salsa that is like useful in a work setting. Learn new skills, meet new people, teamwork, exercise, and having fun.
Yeah.
Right? Penny,
I would, I
would
would
you
never,
like
I
to
would
work?
never, yeah, I would never have put those words in after my hobbies and interests. Normally, it's like I enjoy cooking, as an example,
Yeah,
isn't it? Or I
exactly.
like
Yeah,
reading. But
yeah.
actually, flipping it to go, oh, these are the skills that I'm learning as I'm doing
Yes,
it,
yes,
showcases that I enjoy learning outside of a
yes.
working environment. Like that.
Exactly. Right. And so here's one of the things that, like I say to people, the kids love it when I do this. I say, there's like, because I used to do change management and project management in previous roles, and say, there's like millions and millions of project managers out there. But how many salsa dancing project managers do you know? Right?
I can
So
see it
again,
now. Yeah.
you're just having fun and you're playing with words and you're making
Yeah.
a positive experience for
Yeah.
others. And it's like you say, we're feelings, we're all about feelings and emotions. And so if you can stand out and make their job easier, hiring managers are going to love you even before you enter the door.
Yeah. And this will really resonate, I think,
Yes,
with young people and the
yes,
students, and making them
yes.
realize that, it is tough out there. We all know
It
that.
is. It
But
is tough.
actually, standing out from a crowd and having a CV that you're proud of,
Yeah.
that is, as you said, or it gives you authentic confidence, which I love. I love when you
Yes.
said that. Is
Yeah.
so true, isn't it?
Yeah. So Penny, like I said, you had 6 or 7 before. Knowing what you know now and what you can do in the future, once you fixed it, how would you rate your CV now?
I'm going to write one, and it's going to be a 10.
So just based on your comment there, Penny, what
Yeah.
you're saying is, when's the last time have you heard anyone say, I'm like, so with a smile, I'm going to go write my CV now?
Yeah, exactly, because you have that fear, don't you? Oh, I don't know if I
Exactly.
can write about me. Oh, I don't know if
Yes,
I'm going to do that. Am I
exactly.
going to write that little
Oh,
personal
yes,
statement bit?
right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And so Penny, what I tell people is, you see, you think you're coming in for a CV class, master class,
Yeah, yeah.
right? This is actually a confidence and mindset masterclass.
So true.
The CV is just the tools to help with that. But actually, until we believe in ourselves and we can see the value for ourselves of what we do, nothing else matters.
Yeah, yeah,
And you can still go through life not learning any of this, but how much more powerful, productive, and different our life would be when we can be able to communicate the value of what we do.
yeah. Very much
Right?
so.
And what I tell people as well, Penny, is that this is not only just to help you land a job. What's something that happens in most companies, well, not most, in all companies, either every 6 months or once a year,
Oh, you have like a one-to-one or a
one to ones,
yeah,
one to
or an
ones,
appraisal or something. Yeah,
appraisal, all those things.
yeah,
How you market yourself on the CV is the same strategies that how you market yourself and communicate what you've been doing throughout the year on a piece of paper.
so
Okay,
true.
so
Yeah,
if you think about how we've at this moment, around 45 minutes we've been talking so far. In that time, your confidence in the ability and what you can do to communicate what you can bring to the table has gone from a 6 or 7 to a potential 10.
yes,
Imagine if every single person in a company was to feel like this. Imagine if every a student going through career services was to feel like this before they start looking for a job.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
one of the things I
It's
tell
definitely a
people as well,
shift. Yeah,
exactly, that's the shift, right? And for
yeah,
me, it's all about results as quickly as possible. So
yeah.
this is why I love being part of the community and giving back to the students, because then I can make a quicker and faster impact to the future leaders of tomorrow. And so, just to wrap up here, I'm saying it's not enough to know how good we are. We have to authentically believe it and feel it, right? Confidence is an inside job. Doesn't matter what anyone says, we have to believe it for ourselves. And this is the story that I speak to when I speak to students. And then two of my favorite phrases, especially for people that don't know what they want to do yet. And for most students, when I'm speaking, that's where I was as well. If you don't know where you're going, any road will lead you there. So, from Alice in Wonderland. And Mark Twain says about two most important days in your life are the day you're born and the day you find out your why. And
Yeah, I
like I
love
said,
that.
it's taken me what 40 plus years now to figure out my why. And all my challenges and everything that I've done in the past, the long way and the hard way is actually what I use now to help people all over the world find better paid and more fulfilling roles.
Fantastic. And just like that, we are superstars.
Yes, and that's like that with Superstar. Like I said, it's not just a framework, it's a mindset. And this is what I'm
Yeah.
teaching to people. But in marketing, Penny, you learn that we have to give people what they think they need, or what they think they want, right? So it's a CV resume course so that they come in and we give them what they actually need, which is the
Yes.
mindset, clarity, and confidence course. Right?
And
So,
I think that's so prevalent today with regards to students thinking, oh, there's a lot of that immediate, return on investment, and they want
yes.
it all. But actually, showing that confidence will
Yeah.
give them that desired outcome that they want.
Yes.
Whereas, if you go in thinking, oh, I deserve it, it's going to land on my desk, it won't, because in the hard fact of the world of work, as a hiring manager, you want the best person for the job. So
Yes.
if there's one apprenticeship opportunity, there could be 20 people going for it. And actually, you want to be the one that they pick.
Exactly. Exactly
Yeah, because
that.
this one, yeah. And I know that the work that you have done for me,
Yeah.
James, working with, some of the schools and colleges that, I oversee,
Yeah.
the feedback has been second to none. It has been extremely inspirational, and I cannot thank you enough. And likewise, I think this is a message that we need to get
Yeah.
out far and wide. So
Yes.
the only concern is, and this is me having a bit of a tongue-in-cheek comment, is that all of a sudden everybody's going to come out buzzing, including the teachers. Let's keep the teachers in their place, in
No.
their school. But likewise, they
But
just
so
understanding that a teacher doesn't necessarily have to write a CV for certain
yeah.
positions. So you're educating them and you're getting
Yes.
them confident in sharing that story that
Yeah.
you've talked about.
Yes. And
Wonderful.
just to add to everything you said there, Penny, from my perspective, um, I believe that no job is forever.
Agreed.
Right. So there could be some teachers that say, well, okay, I want to try something different now. Well, why wouldn't you if
Yeah.
you've given so much time to this? But also I want to say to you is, from my perspective, it's making sure we have the processes and the systems in place that even if people decide to go do something else, the processes and the systems are
Yeah.
in place
Yeah.
for someone else to come and pick up the baton when they're ready. That's something.
Yeah.
And one of the things I talk about, because obviously I talked about this is how it can help apprentices and students. But we flip it on the other side. Imagine companies doing this through their recruitment process for apprentices for everyone else in there, to have everyone to level the playing field, as I like to call it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you talk to me, and then I'm teaching you how to communicate and how I wanted to see what you're doing. So we can also, because this is still a business, right? A business is not a charity. A business is a business. We talk about the bottom line. And
Yeah.
so I say to people, if companies were to take this forward and look at it from their end, and we can connect it with what the apprenticeships at this end, it will save everyone a lot of time, money, and a heck of a lot of frustration as well. If we have more
Absolutely.
joined up thinking as well. So like I said, because I've come from corporate and I'm a career coach and also a recruiter, I have a unique holistic view on how all things join together. And with my process improvement background and project background, that's just how I see things differently.
Yeah. I love it. And I love the energy, James. I'm conscious of time.
Yes,
And if you're happy, if you want to stop sharing, then we'll just
yes.
open it up to any questions anybody might have. I'll also, with your permission, James,
Take
um,
it, take it and use it. That's a what?
Tomasi Kennedy, not just a JTK, we're going to know you as now. We'll put a little spin on it as
I
well.
know, because obviously Michael knows another one. I was like, I'm going to go find
We'll
him.
share your LinkedIn link if that's
Yeah,
okay. We'll
yeah,
share
definitely.
your email. We'll
Yeah.
share the video. Please do share this recording, that if as far as you wish it to be shared, because if we can help every young person find their best next steps, let them all become superstars. It's been an absolute joy to have you on the call. Thank you so much indeed, James, for joining us on our insight into industry. I'm just going to stop recording now and say goodbye to you all.